Hi guys, as promised, I wanted to run through a few things that you can look through on your own. Um, the first thing was getting your personal meeting ID. I've had a few questions about this. So you can, because people want to be able to share their personal meeting ID with other folks. They also want to be able to create a link that is permanent, that doesn't change, so that you're not always creating a new meeting ID for every class, every session. I strongly recommend using your personal meeting ID because that one will not change. So here's how you do that real quick. I'm going to see if I can display my desktop. All right. So over here on my Zoom window, I can go over to meetings and I can go through my personal meeting ID. That's the 757-565-4546. And that is the one that you want to distribute to people. You can copy an invitation, gets copied to the clipboard, and then I can send that out to people. All right, so that is a really good way to send out your personal meeting ID. But if you show your meeting invitation, you'll notice that there's a link that includes your password. Please do not share that on public channels. Public channels would be IB Thrive, any website, except for Google Classroom. Google Classroom is password protected, so that's okay to share the password along with Zoom. So in case you're not a web genius, you can look here. This says PWD, that stands for password. So this link actually includes the password itself. And that's why you don't want to include that in any public forum, because then you can get Zoom bombed. You want to avoid that. So if you just want to include the link to your meeting and then you provide the password separately, just include that first part of the link, or just give people your personal meeting ID. And that's probably the most straightforward way to get people to your Zoom each and every time. Let me stop sharing my desktop. Oh, let me continue sharing my desktop because I wanted to show folks how to upload to YouTube. So I've gotten this question a couple times since I last showed it, but I wanted to be clear about how to upload your Zoom recordings to YouTube. I'm on a Mac, and so this is going to look a little bit different than it will for folks who are on a PC or a Chromebook. But if you go to YouTube and you click that plus icon that I just did, you'll see that you have in your folder, after you've done a recording, Zoom makes lots of different folders. One of those folders is the most recent folder with your recordings, and it's going to include MP4 files. These MP4 files are all the recordings made during a particular session. And what I do is I always try to look through these MP4 files to see, are they a recording that I want to save? This is a 12-second long recording, so that's clearly not something I need to save. That was it was an automatic recording that came up when I first opened Zoom. So I'm gonna trash that one. I don't need the 12-second recording. The one I really want to save is most likely this one. That's a 31-minute recording. For sure, I want that one. On my Mac, I can preview it so that I can see, what was going on. And you would have seen them come together on the strings. And that was from physics today. So I can go ahead and just, if I have multiple MP4 files, I want to name them all so I can remember what class was which. And then once I'm ready, all I have to do is drag the file over this icon. It will start to upload it. YouTube's actually pretty quick about this. My naming scheme for my classes is the subject and then the date. And I'm hesitating because I forgot what today's date was. And then I always try to put in what the subject was. And so this was demonstration and lecture for charges and fields and Coulomb's law. Under playlists, I have playlists for every subject. So physics Zoom meetings is a playlist. You can select multiple playlists. So if you have a video that fits into multiple categories, you can do that. You don't have to set up playlists at all. I strongly recommend doing that though. It'll help categorize your videos, especially if you publish a lot of them. And you can always direct students to a particular playlist. Yes, it's made for kids. This will keep advertisements off of your video. That means you can't make money off of them. And then I'm going to say unlisted. The reason I'm going to say unlisted is because there are students on this, and I do not want it to be public. I don't want people just to be able to find it, and then we don't have permission to publicize our students. This is unlisted, which means that only the people with the link can see the video, and I'm only going to share the link on Google Classroom, so that kids are only going to be able to see it there. Now, to be really secure, if you wanted to be really secure, you would do it privately, and then you would have to actually determine who you're going to share it with through YouTube. But for our purposes, unlisted does the trick until we hear otherwise, unless there are some concerns about even that. I click save. At this point, it has uploaded the whole thing. I clicked a button that I didn't explain that I was clicking it, and that was copy the link to the video, but I'm going to go through and show you a different way to get the link to the video so that you can share it on Google Classroom. Click close. And you will see here all the videos that have been uploaded after it takes, forever. Once we get that link, then we're going to post it to Classroom and let the physics students know that they can see that video. So while I'm waiting for that to load, I'm going to go ahead and go to Google Classroom. And I'm going to go to my physics class. And I have a couple things that I do for each video that I post. Because I like to post the videos right after I get off of Zoom instead of forgetting about them and then having to post them later, I go to the stream, I click share something with the class, and what I'll say is lecture, whoops, I also did the demonstration today. It was on charges and fields and Coulomb's law. And once this loads, there it is. I hover over it, I click on the 3-dot menu, and I click on Get Shareable Link. Now that link is on the clipboard. If I go to Add and YouTube, I can paste in the box here, click Search, and it finds Physics 518, Demonstration and Lecture for Charges and Fields, Coulomb's Law. Beautiful. It attaches it, says there's 31 minutes. However, this icon is like the YouTube video not found icon, which suggests that this hasn't been processed completely yet. We see that it's 95% processed, so it's not viewable yet. Usually it doesn't take that long to actually process, but let's just be safe. And I clicked on, and I'm going to go back because I did that really quickly. The right arrow next to post, I'm going to click on schedule. And I'm going to select today, May 18th. And it's currently 2:54 p.m. I'm going to give it an hour. It's not going to take that long, but I'm going to make sure that when it posts, kids can view it immediately. So 4 p.m., I click schedule, and now this will fire off at 4 p.m. It even tells me if I click on saved announcements, that's going to happen. All right, so this is still processing. You can move on to the next item on the list. So I just showed you how to get your personal meeting ID and also uploading Zoom to YouTube. Reminder that CMSD is asking for videos of sessions, ideally looking for 10 to 15 minute lessons. You can contact me directly if you have any that you think would fit the bill. And those are lessons that will go on the TV show. They are going to continue over the summer, hopefully. They will continue over the summer. It depends on an MOU that's signed between CTU, between the union and the district. But hopefully we will have that opportunity to continue publicizing all the great things that we're doing at campus, and have that displayed every Thursday alongside all the other videos that are being produced by the high school. I wanted to open up, if we were having a live session, I wanted to open up the Google Classroom Q&A, especially when it comes to copying and creating new classes. And let me just say one word about that real quick, because this is the time of year when we're looking forward to next year. I just made a copy of environmental ESS for next year. And just to tell you real quick how I do that, you hit that 3-dot menu on the class and click on copy, and it will make a copy of the new class for you. You have some options about the name of the class and the section and everything like that. Notice that the section, I made it 2020 to 2021 to differentiate it from the 2019-2020 classes. You also notice that there are 22 students in this class, and the reason that it says there are 22 students is that I invited all of the current non-STEM track students who will be in ESS next year, and a ton of them have already accepted that invitation. As we see here, there's a lot of kids who have accepted the invitation to be in the class. And the way that I did that, there's a couple steps to this. So let me show you. If we go back to my classes, and let's go to one that has a current roster of, let's say 11th graders. And so I want all of these 11th graders to be in my new 12th grade class. So I clicked on people, and now I'm in students. I'm going to click on this first checkbox that selects all the students. We can always remove students and add students later. So this just gives us a rough starting list so that any alterations we need to make are not bulk alterations, they're just student by student alterations of our list. And I'm not gonna remove anybody, not gonna mute anybody, I'm gonna email. So if I click on email, it takes me to my Gmail account. Once I'm in my Gmail account, I can actually select all of the email addresses. There are a few email addresses that I don't necessarily want to invite because there are accounts like Test Student, Ms. Schneider. We've got, it looks like a parent signed up to be a student, which is, hey, that's really cool. I'm glad she did that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to not include them. I'm not going to include Amir. I'm not going to include Miss Gergis. You know, I can curate a little bit, just kind of doing a skim. Again, it's not a big deal if you include someone who shouldn't be or you miss somebody. But at this point, I've got a pretty good list to start with of almost 80 kids. And what I want to do is I want to select all. If I right click in here, you might have an option to select all. You might not. You might have to start somewhere else in the box. On a PC, it's Control A to select all. On a Mac, it's Command A. Right. So once I selected all, which right now I have, I want to do Control C to copy or Command C to copy. And right now it's copied to the clipboard. All those email addresses are on the clipboard. Now I want to go to my new class, wherever my new class is. So if this is where I'm inviting all of my soon-to-be 12th graders, then I go to people, I click on the plus, and then I'm going to Control V or Apple V all of those students. And you see it gives me a list of all of those students. All I have to do is click invite at this point. Nice little bulk upload. I'm going to click cancel. Obviously, I don't, in this particular case, I don't want those kids on. They'll freak out. They'll be like, why am I signed up for ESS for next year too? Please feel free to email me at any point about any classroom questions. This is the crazy time of year, so you'll excuse me if it takes a little bit longer to get back to you. Couple links. Through your CMSD account, you have access to download all Microsoft Office products on, I believe it's 5 devices, 5 computers. So you could download to your home computer, you could download to your laptop if you don't already have the Office suite. And you also have a limited version of Adobe Creative Suite, and it includes something called Adobe Spark for making all sorts of designs, graphics. So both of those, you log in using your CMSD account, and you will actually have the chance to use some stuff that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. Again, that's office.com and adobe.com, or specifically spark.adobe.com for that app. I'm going to leave it here so that that keeps it short and sweet. Have a great day, week, and I'll see you later.